this video, I'm absolutely delighted to be putting a Pontiac Trans Sport through its paces, the Dustbuster, this amazing American MPV, and it's found its way here to Wales. It has a number plate that almost says Bonk. It is Bonk the Magic Wagon. It actually lives by the sea. This is going to be utterly marvellous, so let's dig into the history. So this is a Pontiac Trans Sport GT. It's sporty. Look, it must be sporty. It says so. It has a 3.8 litre V6 engine, tuned port injection, very similar to the Holden Ute I was driving around Melbourne, Australia. Same family, not identical, but very, very close. It is one of three different cars on this U-body platform. The Chevrolet Lumina and the Oldsmobile Silhouette, the Oldsmobile being the posher version before sadly the Oldsmobile name was no more. Obviously built for the American market, but also built for Europe. This one we think was actually sold in France, possibly, judging by some stickers on the back. We don't really know the history, but the rear lamps are European spec. They were sold here, often through Opel dealers. Opel also being part of General Motors. But yeah, we got some hints at history. Venise de Périgord, and also some Austrian stickers as well, just for something a bit different. So a slightly unusual, baffling history. But the structure of these cars is a stainless steel substructure to which plastic panels are attached. So composite panels that won't rust, galvanized structure, in many ways Wales proof. So it's perfect that it's ended up here. Notice also we got some big orange indicators and some aftermarket fog lights that someone's added. It belongs to my friends Alex and Sean, lovely people, and they've got quite an interesting collection of cars themselves. They've only owned this car for a couple of weeks. It's just past the MOT, and I think before we do anything else we should probably jump aboard. But the similarity to the Espace, even the wheel design, is very striking. But these cars came out in 1989 for the 1990 model year, and as you can see, just one single sliding door on the passenger side. But I'm freezing, so let's jump aboard. Oh yes, that is a relief. It is very, very cold today. But yeah, a very interesting interior. Look at this switch gear. So side lights there, headlights there. It's warning me because the engine is off at the moment. We've got an indicator stroke cruise control stalk. I think that one might be a column adjust. Yes, I think that changes the angle of the column. So lights are over there, fog light. You can change the dashboard brightness with this little slider here. Wipers, very important business over this side. A little switch down here for the rear wiper. This is the fronts through various delays. And then you got low and high, but a mist function should you just need a single wipe, and the wash is that button up there. Electronic heater controls. We've got a rear fan. Sadly, I don't think it's working. I'm not sure all the speeds are working on the fan at all, but lots of push buttons going on. It's an interesting business. It works very well, albeit only on one setting. Little heated rear window switch. So we've got lots of vents, lots of cubbies, of course. So, you know, obligatory COVID face masks there. The build quality is starting to suffer a bit. It gets a bit noisy as you're driving along, and I mean that's not good quality, but at least the fuse is nice and easy to get to. Electric windows. It just feels such a futuristic design even now. Look at the mirror. I think that's an electric adjustment, is it? Or maybe it's a broken adjustment, who knows. That's quite sweet. The passenger mirror is broken and Alex attempted to make his own. Not entirely successfully, but I applaud him for having a go. And there must be a little computer up here. I hadn't even seen that. Let's turn the ignition on and see if we can see what's going on up there. I haven't entirely got the grips with this. There we go. Have we got anything up here? Maybe it's broken. But we've got interior lights, map reading lights that you can swivel around for a better view. We've got lots of storage up here. I don't know what that's meant to do, but that's a little fold down panel there for something. Sunglasses can go in there. There's another panel there for various items. Got armrests on these lovely comfortable front seats as well. Just turn the ignition off before we break something. And I think, no, let's go around. We've got to see the sliding door in action. It isn't electric, unfortunately. Got a bong going because I've left the key in. American cars don't like that. Let's brave the cold just one more time while we come around and open the door. They did later fit an electric sliding door, but there we go. Opens very nicely and in I sit. And we'll now close that again. So I've only got a little pop-out window. I'm very much hoping the air conditioning would keep you cool back here. I can't control the fan speed, it doesn't look like. Oh, that's a shame. That doesn't seem to work either. But yes, ideal for the family. Alex and Sean have 2 children, and yeah, I think little Edith very much enjoys sitting there. But yeah, nice comfortable seats. No head restraints, which I find a little odd in a vehicle. I think this is a 1992. But look at the view ahead. So much space in here. You don't really get this with the European cars. Sadly, the seats don't seem to swivel. You know, proper captain seats. But yeah, there's a lovely ambience in here. It feels very pleasant. And if I just ping this seat, I'm going to have to open the door again. Oh, chilly. If we just ping, I think it's this lever, we can then tip. Oh, it's very difficult to do one-handed. It's the only thing they haven't thought through very well. That seat then goes and I can jump into the back. So let's jump into the most compact seat. And yeah, we're getting a bit compact. Look, got a little ashtray here, drinks can go there. Again, the windows pop open in the back. But you know, it's a full 7-seater. You could get 7 adults in here. They wouldn't feel too contained, I don't think, too constrained by things. I've got a reasonable amount of headroom, even with a beanie on, just about enough leg room. I'm about 5'9", so yeah, that's not bad going at all. The seats fold down in various ways, which is why we've got cup cutouts in the back. If I pull this lever, as you can see, you can do that, and then I think you can tip the seats. You can remove the seats to turn it into a van, and I believe there was a van version that you could buy in America. Let's put that down. There we go. We'll leave that as it is. But moving around to the back, another thing that could be better designed is trying to open that one-handed is a bit of a struggle, but there we go. And you've still got, you know, a reasonable amount of boot space. If you're going on holiday, all 7 of you, it's going to be tight, but it's not too bad for a pupil carrier. Right, we shall find a way to look at the engine, and then we can head off on a test drive, because that'll be a lot warmer. Bonnet release there. It's a foot operated handbrake, released like so. There we go. Oh, and up goes the bonnet. It's not quite staying where it is. I think, oh, there is a prop. There we go. Yeah, that's not the most secure prop ever, is it? So here is the V6 engine, transverse mounted automatic 4-speed gearbox on the side. Very old school engine, overhead valve. I have no idea what the power is, but I will put that in a caption. But yeah, it's actually quite spacious in there. Unlike a lot of this one box designs where there's no access at all. So that's pretty decent. Onwards with the important business of the test drive. I've got you almost in a head mount, but thankfully you're not attached to my head. I know people find that a little disturbing, but hopefully a driver's eye view as we go down the road. The engine fires up. It sounds quite V8ish, and there's a reason for that. It is effectively a V8 engine with 2 cylinders locked off. It has the 90-degree angle, which means it's a little bit offbeat. It's a little bit it's a little bit, you know, menacing. I love that. 90-degree V8s are fabulous things. The Citroen SM, that Maserati V6, also a cut down V8 as it happens. So very similar noise. Now, I haven't tested the wipers yet, so I'm looking forward to this. It's this paddle over here. Oh, look at that. We got on the blade washers. Lovely clap handers going on. So although you get a bit of a triangle going on, I'm not going to call it a triangle of doom. I've got a mist button to catch the dribbles here. Oh yeah, that works well. And then I slide up for intermittent or to get them on full speed. Woohoo! Well, that's testing the old linkages a bit. Rear wiper. Should we try that? I haven't even tried the rear wiper yet. Let's see if I can spin you around to have a look. Here we go. Oh yeah, I think we need a new blade on the back, but that's not too bad. Yes, the rear wiper blade's not part of a UK MOT, so often slightly disappointing in performance. But just getting mounted up, I think you've got a nice view there. Right, was I right? Is that column adjust? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Who'd want to drive like that? We'll leave it where it was, I think. So it's foot on there, release the brake there, a column gear lever to bring it down to drive. There are two drive positions, one of which allows the torque converter to lock up and one of which doesn't, I think. Could be wrong in that. But it's a surprisingly easy vehicle to drive. Because it's so square rigged, really, you get a pretty decent feel for where the corners are. I'm slightly worried about the height, but I drove in, so it must be all right. Indicate here, and very much an engine. It's all about the torque, really. Although don't get me wrong, she will hitch her skirts if you wanted to, but not really a performance machine. Oh yes. The suspension, it has a bit of float to it, but it also crashes about a bit and feels quite firm. But the benefit is the handling feels quite good. I quite like the handling. Very light steering, of course, but very nicely geared. Power steering isn't always nicely geared, so I certainly appreciate that. Oh no, I can see caravans for sale. Do not tell Miss Hubnut. But yeah, very curious that this huge slice of Americana has found its way to Wales via France, most probably. Oh, that's quite a nice caravan there, Miss Hubnut, even if it said for sale spelt wrong. It certainly gets plenty of attention. We think it probably has been resprayed bright red, because red is notorious for fading. Oh, there's the crashing. Really quite badly. I think the crashy suspension made worse because there are so many trim rattles. I think American interiors aren't always made with the best quality components. It did take a while. I think they're getting there now, but certainly back in the 80s and 90s the interior quality wasn't brilliant. It doesn't help we've got no stereo fitted, so we've got a load of wires banging around down here as well. But nonetheless, it's a really nice, pleasant driving position. The visibility is excellent. We've got windows all around and very thin pillars. So yeah, it's a car of character and interest, and I commend my friends enormously for buying it. Apparently Alex had always wanted one. Some friends, family friends had one when he was a child, and he fell in love with the crazy looks. Yeah, it's fairly peaceful. Most of the noise I'm getting, it feels like it's coming from the back, so it feels like exhaust noise. So in about 95, I'm going to say, they facelifted the phase 1 of the U body, and then in Europe the sales continued, but it was the Oldsmobile silhouette with Pontiac badges for some reason, because the Pontiac in the US had a new reworked front end. Oh yeah, you just don't need to rev the engine. It just floats along on torque. I miss torque. Something else of interest is this first generation in production from 89 through to 96, I think it was. 96, 97. And the second generation ditched all this clever structure, this stainless steel with plastic body parts attached to it. They ditched that clever idea, went to a more conventional look and style, aiming clearly for Chrysler with the Voyagers and Grand Voyagers. And that car it came to the UK. We had those as Vauxhall Sintras or Opel Sintras in Europe, and a terrible car by all accounts. I would dearly love to drive one. So if you have a Vauxhall Sintra or an Opel Sintra, do let me know. They are meant to be terrible. They were appalling when it came to crash standards. A lot of American cars, even the big trucks, when they actually started testing them properly, they were horrific in offset crashes, and I think that was one of them. So probably best not to crash. But yeah, it's a lovely car to drive. It feels a bit like the Mitsubishi Delica, but not quite so high up, and a bit more sprightly. Shall we oh yeah, that does gather pace nicely when provoked. But generally this is just effortless motoring, which of course is what American cars were about. In America, rather like Australia, you often have massive distances to cover, so it's all about the waft. And the seats are comfortable, if a little firm, and allied to the suspension. I'm not sure how it would be on a really long trip. I'd be quite interested to find out though. Overall, this is a very likeable experience. A little nugget for you. You can see a dash mat down the far end. That was something they did because they were getting such strong reflections in this very, very steep windscreen. But it was becoming an issue, so they had to do something about that, and that's what they did. They fitted a dash mat. Can you imagine also cleaning the windscreen on the inside? Must be a bit of a challenge because so much of it is so very, very far away. Yeah, it's very un-American in terms of handling. I expect much more wallow and roll. But I suppose because it's a fairly high vehicle, you can't really get away with doing that. So it is that little bit firmer. And very pleasant it is too. Oh, let's just do a from rest acceleration test before we go. We haven't got that much speed limit to play with here, but I just want to see how she goes. Oh! Yeah, briskly, I would say, and it's not too dramatic. It's mostly the sound. It's just, oh, that rough, slightly offbeat engine sounds absolutely magnificent. So that was the surprisingly interesting Pontiac Trans Sport. Certainly a very different vehicle, and a pleasure to drive. I've really enjoyed that. So thanks to Alex and Sean for letting me drive this one. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it too. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store for various support options and to buy lovely merchandise variously. And I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Farewell.